Hey guys, Brittany here, and I'm going to finally review the first season of the Charmed reboot. So, what did I think? So first and foremost, if you've been subscribed to me for a while, then you probably already know I've made videos about this topic. I wasn't really a huge fan when it was first announced they were going to reboot Charmed, because Charmed, I have been a Charmed fan since I was in 3rd grade, and to give you context, I'm 27 now, so I've been a Charmed fan for a very long time, to the point that I've even made my own Book of Shadows. Like, it's ridiculous. But, so when I heard the news, I wasn't looking forward to it, especially when they first announced that it was going to be, like, taking place in the 70s, and it was going to be, like, these 3 friends, and I was like, that's not Charmed. What is this? And then they started releasing, like, casting news and saying, no, it's going to be 3 sisters, and then they released the trailer, and even from the trailer, I still was not looking forward to it, because it still looked and felt weird. Because my biggest thing with the reboot was I did not want to watch this show and sit there and be like, this is exactly like the original show. There's nothing new. There's no difference. They're not trying to make it their own. Because that's a lot of the time my problem with reboots. Like, I am someone who I really love for them to keep the heart of the thing they're rebooting, but make it their own, so that way, like, I'm not sitting there being like, I really don't need to watch this because I already have the original. And I remember when I watched the trailer, I thought, like, yeah, it looks different, but it still feels too much like the original Charmed. But I was going to give the show a chance, both me and my mom, because me and my mom are big Charmed fans, so we were both willing to give this new version of Charmed a chance. And I can honestly say, after watching the first season, I actually really liked it. Like, enough, because I own all 8 seasons of the original show on DVD, and I liked it enough that when and if the new version comes out on DVD, I'm buying it, because I liked it that much. Now, it wasn't a perfect first season, but there's very few shows that have a perfect first season. So, going into it, I wasn't expecting it to blow my mind and be amazing, but I still wanted it to be good. Now, they did pay homage to the original show. They had a lot of little Easter eggs that I appreciated. They even had some storylines that I'm like, oh, that reminds me of this one from the original show. Like, an example is they brought in a new White Lighter, whose name I can't remember. I think it was Tessa, who reminded me of the episode Blinded by the White Lighter in the original show, when they brought in this new White Lighter, Natalie. And then, you know, other stuff like that. They just had, like, little things that my brain would be like, ooh, this reminds me of the original show. Which I appreciated, because it's like, it's fine if you, like, give hints and have things that remind me of the old show, but it's not where I'm sitting there like, this is exactly the same thing. And I think they did perfect with casting. I think Madeline Mantock, Melanie Diaz, Sarah Jeffrey, and Rupert Evans all have amazing chemistry, and I love the dynamic of those 4 together, because basically the new Charm did what the old Charm did, and it brought together 3 women, well, in case of old Charm 4, but 3 women, and who have amazing chemistry, along with the White Lighter, who is Brian Krause. But, yeah, I will say my favorite sister is Macy, and to be honest, I was really excited. That was one of the casting choices I was really excited about, because I am a big fan of Into the Badlands, and Madeline Mantock was in Into the Badlands. She played a character named Vale, and I loved her on Into the Badlands, so when I found out she was going to be playing one of the sisters, I was like, okay, that makes me a little more excited, because I really loved her as Vale. And she was amazing in the show. I thought Macy had the strongest character and storyline, and I thought Madeline did an amazing job with with the storylines Macy was given. Now, here comes the kind of negative. Is one of my biggest complaints about this first season is I feel like a lot of the storylines focused heavily on Macy, which makes sense when you get to the end of the season, but I feel like it was a huge disservice to Mel and Maggie's character, because I remember a lot of the episodes that kind of focused more on those two I felt were the weakest episodes. And the episodes that focus more on Macy, I feel like were the strongest. Honestly, I'm really gonna need the writers to fix that for season 2, because I think it's such a disservice to Melanie Diaz and Sarah Jeffrey, because they did an amazing job in season 1. It's just Maggie and Mel were not written strong enough. Like, their storylines were just not as strong as Macy's, and so I really hope they fix that in season 2. I will admit, one of my biggest issues also was Mel's character, because I want to say for the first maybe 5 or 6 episodes, my biggest issue with Mel was, to me, and I wrote about this in my review of the very first episode, which, side note, I reviewed every single episode of the reboot of Charmed on my blog, which can be found down below in the thingamajig, the link, except for like episodes 5 through I think 11, because I had some issues with my computer, so yeah. But a lot of the times Mel in the beginning felt almost like the stereotype of like an angry lesbian. She was always just hating on men. She was like, I'm a feminist, but she was just too much, and she just felt like a stereotype of what I've seen on other shows about like a man hating angry lesbian, and I was like, I do not like this. It was too much. But as the season progressed and you got to know Mel more, besides the fact that because at first that's all we really knew about Mel, like she was a lesbian and she was a feminist, and I was like, that's great, but what else is there to Mel? And I think with seeing her development with Nico, and then with Jada, and then just her bond with Maggie and Macy, and even her bond with Harry, I thought it just made her a more interesting character. So I'm hoping next season, like, obviously keep the fact, do not shy away from the fact that, Mel is a lesbian and she's a feminist, but don't constantly throw it in the audience's face and like beat them over the head like, this is what she is. Because that's what they did at first, and I'm glad they toned it down as the season progressed. But yeah, at first Mel was my least favorite sister, because I was just like, ooh, she's too much. And I'd say if I had to rank the sisters, I think it would go in order of their age on the show. So Macy, Mel, and Maggie. And that has nothing to do with Maggie. It's the fact that I feel like out of all the characters, Maggie has the least development. I felt like a lot of Maggie's development focused way too much on Parker, which I can admit in the original show they did have that problem with Phoebe, and a lot of the times they would develop Phoebe's character a lot around whoever she was with, whether it be Cole or Jason, or in the later seasons when they just made Phoebe like husband obsessed. But so I'm really hoping they kind of fix that with Maggie, because I'm like, I need to know Maggie. I don't need to know Maggie when it comes to her relationship with Parker, which, by the way, I did ship. Also, let me just get into that real quick. Ships. I definitely ship Parker and Maggie. I feel like it could possibly be like Cole and Phoebe. I also, I shipped Mel with Jada and Nico, so I don't know. We'll see what we get next season. Definitely a little more with Nico. I adored Nico. I cannot at the moment remember the actress who plays Nico, but she did an amazing job, and I love her. I just pray, because like I said, I'm a fan of the original show. I just pray with all my heart that the show does not go like the original Charmed and kill off Nico. I don't want a repeat of the original Charmed, like with the Prue and Andy relationship. Yeah, I was nervous the whole first season that it would end up like the relationship would end up like Prue and Andy. So I'm really happy they didn't do that. And I loved Macy and Galvin, but I also was shipping Macy and Harry throughout the season. And I'm kind of hoping they develop that a little bit more. Also, I really did like Galvin. I noticed a lot of people don't really like Galvin in the charm tag, which I kind of don't get. Like, Galvin had his moments where he was a little frustrating and annoying, but I also feel like the writers did a disservice to Galvin. I feel like Galvin had a lot of potential and was a really strong character at first, but then when, like, he went away for a couple episodes to try to get something to help Macy out, and when he came back and then Macy was like, actually I don't need that, then they just kind of turned him against Macy, and I was like, I don't really like that. What are you doing to it literally felt like when they brought Galvin back, they're like, oh, we have him back, but we really don't want him anymore, so how do we get rid of him? That's literally how it felt to me with Galvin's character, which I felt was a complete disservice, because I really did like Galvin's character. But then Harry, Rupert Evans, who I thought is amazing. Like, I was at first really iffy about Harry, but as the season progressed, I'm like, I love Harry. He's an amazing white lighter. I love him. And I just love it, not only with Macy, but his dynamic with all the sisters, especially Mel. That was one of the relationships I didn't expect to love as much at first, but I really, really love his dynamic with Mel. But I'm kind of hoping Macy and Harry can be like the Piper and Leo, but we'll see. But yeah, other like characters, I really like Jada. I don't know if we'll ever see Jada again, but I kind of hope we do. Also, the actress who plays Jada is so freaking gorgeous, and she's so good, and I want to see more of her. Alistair as, like, the villain was okay. I didn't feel like he's that strong of a overarching villain for the season. I just kind of felt he was meh. No offense to the actor, but I just was like, I guess. Charity, I actually really liked Charity's character, and I liked the way they took her character. And I thought the actress did a great job, and she had great chemistry with the sisters and Harry and everything. I was super ecstatic when I found out Leah Pipes was going to be on the show, because I'm a big Leah Pipes fan, and her character Fiona was so interesting, but I feel like they did not do enough with her character, which did kind of sadden me, because I feel like Leah Pipes is that actress who she gets booked on these shows and she's given these great characters, but then the writers just don't do enough with these characters, and I'm like, why did you introduce me to this amazing character and you're not going to do anything with her, really? So, but yeah, just like overall, I do think this was a good, solid first season of the new Charmed. If you're an OG fan like me and you were hesitant or haven't given it a chance, it is on Netflix, and I do recommend checking it out. Like, I can honestly say I want to say maybe the first 5 or 6 episodes are a little cringe and kind of hard to get through, but after that the plot picks up and the story picks up and it gets a lot better. Because one of my best friends, she also is a big Charm fan, and she refused to watch it, but I kept talking about it, and I told her the same thing: get past the first 5 or 6, and once you get really into the plot, it'll get better. And she's binged the whole show and she loves it. So I think every Charm fan should at least give this a try. It is not a carbon copy of our version of Charmed. It is its own thing with its own storylines. It has little, Easter eggs and hints and stuff to remind you of the old show, but it is its own thing, which I actually really do appreciate. But yeah, if I had to rate the first season, I'd probably give the first season a 3.5. Like I said, it was a good, solid first season. It just had some bumps in the road. Like, there were some episodes where me and my mom would finish and be like, okay, that was an episode. And like I said, I thought the writing for Mel and Maggie was not as strong as it was for Macy, but yeah, overall, I would recommend the new Charmed. I thought it was solid. I'm actually really looking forward to see where they go, because that season finale just left a lot of stuff open where I'm like, okay, where can we go from here? And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it, and that's my thoughts. If you've seen the new Charmed, what did you think about it? Whether you watched the original or this was your first experience with Charmed in general, tell me down below. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys about this show. And I will be doing a season review of the original Charmed very soon. But like I said before, I'm still posting the rest of my written reviews for the new version on my blog, and I'm also posting written reviews for the old version of Charmed on my blog. So if you want to take a look, the link, it will be down below in the thingamajig. But yeah, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Until next time, bye guys.